Martin, I can remember when we came to summer and you were playing fullback up there, and I saw you in the weight room and watched you work out in the weight room. And you were strong enough to pick up the whole weight room. I wanted to 50, and I running back coach didn't take biggest mistake we ever made.
The Martin Houston Show with national championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Yeah.
Good morning. Welcome to the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9 on your radio dial. Martin Houston Show being broadcast live on Facebook at Martin Houston Live and on YouTube at Martin Houston Live. Also at Martin Houston 35 on Twitter. Also, you can follow us on at Tide 109. We're live and local. This is the Martin Houston Show, the sound of Bama sports, your show, your team. Let's get things rolling. I want to invite you to get in on the conversation at 205-342-9904. 205-342-9904. The Alabama One hotline is open for business. Also, you can always join the conversation. Put your thoughts, your comments, or your questions in the chat, and we'll work that into the conversation. Remember that this is the day that the Lord has made, so let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone. Be the difference you want to see in the world today. We got X's and O's, Xavier Houston joining us today. Good morning, X. How you doing, sir?
Good morning. Doing good. How are you?
Good. Ready to get things rolling. So, I guess we were going to try to get to it yesterday. We didn't. And it appears that there's a little bit more news around an Alabama player, former player, current player, maybe player. Not sure exactly how to list him at this point, but I guess we'll have a little true false this morning. True false, Mr. Agiye Hall is career at Alabama is over, despite Nick Saban saying he's not sure whether Agiye Hall will work himself back or not.
I'm going to say true, simply for the fact this isn't the first time he's been suspended. This might be the most serious situation. You know, he was suspended during the season for his attitude about playing time. And then from what it seems like, there was another situation throughout the course of this offseason, because we're, 10, 11 practices in, and he's participated in one, and that was practice number 7. So was there a suspension leading up to that? He made his way back and then immediately screwed up again, because let's be realistic about this young man. He's very about himself, and I don't know if we've seen a player like this at Alabama before, or they just were able to keep it to themselves and didn't run the social media every time things didn't go their way.
Yeah, I think without a doubt, Agiye Hall has some talent, and if he was willing to be patient and wait his turn, he had flashes last spring that you saw, okay, this guy could play. You saw him get into the game at spring, in a national championship game. And, could have played better, could have made, a big catch that possibly, someone told me yesterday, they said, man, he was a missed catch from possibly being Devontae Smith, in a big game. But he definitely seems to have a lot of baggage, a lot of issues that he just can't seem to get out of his own way. Um, and you don't wish anything bad on the young man. And I'm not saying I hope he's done. I just know that when Coach Saban says he don't know what he's gonna do, it's probably really not up to that young man. If Nick Saban was expecting him back, he probably would have worded it a little differently. We hope to have him back. We hope he'll take the time to do it, but he kind of just said, we don't know what he's gonna do. He's had this chance before, so whatever he's done is a repeat offender, which is not good. So like I said, you hate it for a young man, and then I think the other part that makes it worse is, like you mentioned earlier, he runs to social media. He has to mature when the story is posted, and then he's responding to the tweets personally.
Yeah, and this is also he is young. He is young, but he's also someone that has a child already.
That don't make you. Hey, listen. I'm finna say having a child ain't got nothing to do with maturity.
Oh, I know it doesn't, but that should be more of an incentive to grow up. Yeah. I know how you talked about you getting married at 19, having me at 21 still in college, and how that pushed you to be better and work harder. Well, he hasn't shown that motivation and that push.
Is he married?
I don't know if he's married, but I know he's still with the girl.
Well, I'm not being arrogant and making a statement. I made a choice to be married, and then planned a child, and then had a child, and had a plan to graduate. NFL football was my means to do that. Okay, and so it I know it's hard for a lot of people to believe, but like I said, I got married with that, and someone just got met from saying not married, and not with the girl. So
okay.
That's what makes a difference is. But I'm not saying that it couldn't possibly turn him around. I'm just saying that he just seems to be a cloud around him. And you've played sports, and I get the guys' opinions from behind the glass, DJ and Howie. Is he detrimental to the team? True, false. Is the Alabama roster better or worse with Agiye Hall? Do you think this team is better or worse? I'll let you go first, and then I'll get DJ and them to respond.
I think is it better with him or without him?
Correct. Is it better with or without?
Talent-wise, of course, I would say that it's better with him. The young man has a lot of talent, and he's shown it in spurts, and so it leaves a lot to be desired. But because of his attitude and how that can be a cancer to a team, I'm going to say that no, regardless of his talent, this team isn't better because he's a me-first player. And if you play for Nick Saban, it doesn't matter how good you are, you cannot be a me-first player and be successful.
DJ got, and now you guys take turns.
I don't think Agiye Hall will be a good player for the team, especially since he's kind of being known as a diva right now. Yeah. He's not a locker room guy. He's not going to be good for the young wide receivers coming in. So I don't think he would be a good person for the team right now.
Yeah, I agree with DJ and you, Xavier, 100%. I mean, you got a guy that seems to be a little bit selfish right now, or at least a little bit like he's not jiving with the team. He's more of an individual type guy. And no, I don't think that guy is ever going to be better for Alabama. I think a little bit of swagger is okay, but I think he's definitely taken it to a whole nother level. And I do not think that he's going to be back with this team anytime soon.
Yeah, and you know, you just kind of hit it. Is sometimes there is kind of that, you know, wide receiver. They are kind of the divas of the team. Now, Alabama seems to have different types of receivers when you start thinking about the Julio Jones, Amari Cooper, and those guys. A little quieter version of that, Devontae Smith, you know, guys like that. But you know, and people may be saying, well, he needs another chance, etc. I remember when David Palmer messed up a couple times, and we were faced as a team, the '92 team. You know, we were faced with the choice of what do we do, and Coach Stallings asked us as a team. And despite the fact that David had gotten in trouble a couple times, the entire senior leadership team all felt that the best thing for David and for Alabama was to keep him close to us and to be there for him and to help him, because we didn't feel like he was a distraction. We felt like he would, you know, he would not hurt the team. He'd help the team. But we also felt like, I mean, I remember people saying, man, if we let David go now, if we turn our backs on him now, he's going to end up, you know, worse off back on the, you know, street. This is his opportunity to change his life, his destiny, and his direction. And so, you know, some suspensions that happened, and he missed some games and all of that, but he made it back. So I get, you know, the giving the chance and giving opportunity, you know.
But how many?
Yeah, and that's the question. You know, yeah, there's several other reasons, and you know, the guy just can't seem to get out of his own way. And when it's all said and done, I'm sure there's going to be more to this story than even we know in terms of Ajay Hall. He has some big issues. He has some big questions. And I personally do not think that Ajay Hall will be on this roster. And I think he's messing up his chance to be on any major D1 roster. You know, not meaning he won't find a new home somewhere, but I think he's hurting his chances to be on a major D1 roster anywhere.
He's creating a short. If another big school gives him a chance, he's creating a very short leash for himself there.
Yes, and so it's going to be a chance. Coming back on the other side, we're going to have a few complete this phrase questions, mixing in some other conversation. If you're listening out there right now, you can be a part of the conversation by calling the Alabama One hotline at 205-342-9904. And absolutely want to invite you to take advantage of the new promotion. If you guys, anybody out there listening right now want to win a big green egg, Alabama One is giving away a big green egg with our current promotions. Our loans will work just as hard as you do. Great rates as low as 1.99. We're going to be giving away a big green egg once a week. You know, okay, once a week. And that entry comes with an approved and closed loan, flexible loan terms to fit your budget. And what are we loaning on? On recreational vehicles. So ATVs, RVs, golf cars, motorcycles, boats, etc. win that big green egg. And also, if you're out there listening, on farm equipment as well. Go to alabama1.org and apply. If you have any questions or you want to just go ahead and get that loan process started, go ahead and stop by one of our branch locations. Come back on the other side. We'll keep the conversation going right here on the Martin Houston Show.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, everything pretty quiet as we start our Thursday morning. No wrecks, no delays. But if you do see conditions, give me a call. 205-886-8886. Now's the time to head to Townsend Nissan. An amazing selection, great finance rates, and top dollar for your trade. Townsend Nissan, and I'm Captain.
In a collision, easy decision. Make one call to one name, Mesrano, 206-6300.
No representation when the quantity of legal services to be performed is greater than the quantity of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Everything is better at Benton Nissan. At Benton Nissan of Bessemer and Benton Nissan of Hoover, you get an even bigger selection. We have more than 400 used cars on the ground. Don't pay above sticker for new cars when we have like new used cars waiting for you. Drive a little, save a lot at Benton Nissan of Bessemer, 5487 Academy Way, and Benton Nissan of Hoover, 1640 Montgomery Highway. Benton Nissan, your friend in the car business. For qualified customers, see dealer for details. Everything is better at Benton Nissan.
I can go from 0 to 60 way too fast.
Who knew electric vehicle owners were having so much fun?
20 or 30 years ago, I owned a gas sports car, and this car is much quicker.
It's a great, fun car to drive. When you put your foot on the accelerator, it just goes. They're fun, they're fast, they're efficient.
Visit driveelectricalabama.com to learn how you can start having fun driving an electric vehicle.
Sponsored by the Alabama Clean Fuels Coalition, the ABA, and this station.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. Dashboard light problems? We can help. Our free fix finder service can read your check engine light, ABS light, and service indicator light, and give you possible solutions, verified by licensed technicians. You'll even get detailed results sent straight to your email so you have them when you need it most. It's the most complete free warning light report backed by technician-verified fixes. The free fix finder service, only at AutoZone.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
More details at AutoZone.com.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Sky partly to mostly sunny today, the high in the upper 60s and 68. For tonight, mostly fair with the low at 43. Tomorrow, occasionally cloudy, windy, and much cooler, the high 59. And Saturday, a sunny day with a high at 60. I'm James Spann of the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 53 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Scott Smith and Sophomart Design, doing business for 17 plus years, specializing in graphic design services, commercial printing, promotional products, advertising specialties, and so much more. Basically, any and everything you would need to advertise, promote, and grow your business. Through strong partnerships, strong customer service, and creative ideas, they'll help you market and grow your business. Give Scott a call at 205-292-4680 or email scottis@comcast.net and visit them online at softmarkdesign.com.
Interact with the Martin Houston Show by calling us at 205-342-9904 or tuning into the Martin Houston Show on Facebook.
No, I hadn't. We don't have enough offensive linemen that everybody doesn't have to, sort of rotate around and do a lot of different things. So we'll continue to evaluate it. Guys are making progress, and but it hasn't settled down because we have a lot of guys that we only got 10, 11 guys that are able to practice in the offensive line. All right, so we're trying to practice 3 or 4 teams of guys, so guys have to mix and match. We have 7 guys per group, and they have to rotate around. Is it important that we build continuity in the offensive line right now? I think the diversity that we gain from the experience that guys get at various positions is probably more important right now than worrying about what you're worried about. But, we do have some guys that are making progress at tackle, and hopefully they'll continue to improve throughout the spring.
Uh-oh. Must have struck a nerve right there. So, that question about the O-line, we'll get to that and discuss that in just a moment. You're in with the Martin Houston Show with X's and O Sports, Xavier Houston. Let's go to the phone lines, Alabama One hotline, and we have Super Joe. Super Joe, you're in. What's on your mind, sir? Super Joe still there? If not, let's move on to Robert from Mobile. You're in with the Martin Houston Show. What's on your mind, sir?
Hey, man.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, looks like we have the same deal we had with Billy's there for a while. Guys don't want to buy into the product. I was hoping after his, apology for all the drop balls in the national championship game that I thought he ready to go. Okay, he learned my lesson. Now it's time to go with the process. But here we are, and still can't get with the process. And then one thing for certain, Nick Saban's serious about the process, which he should be. The process has gotten him all these championships and all those championship appearances.
Yeah.
So the process shows that it works. So it's like, dude, if the process works, if you go with it, why not just go with what's been proven to work? As far as name, image, and likeness and all that, well, that comes when you perform and follow the process. And I just can't get him and Billy's play. It's just weird. And then, though, their performance won't be, lights out where you just got to have them on the field. The talent's there, but their performance isn't. Billy was there for a while. Oh, wow, this guy. But then it fell off. And the Hall, they could just never get going again. So he has been, I guess he was in the transfer for. They didn't just get rid of anybody. But he's suspended indefinitely. Is that what it is?
He's suspended till he corrects whatever his wrong is, and he's been suspended for this before. So I do not think it's academics. I think it's something else. And I think he's violated that rule, and and I've got information. I'm not going to say what I think specifically it is. I do think that part of his challenge, Robert, as someone shared with me, he's what Mac Jones's personality is, right? He's known as, his nickname is the jokester. All right. The difference is, if you're going to be that type of personality, you have to take care of your business, right?
Right.
You can't be a prankster, a jokester, or a troll and not take care of your business. You become a fan. I mean, people become a fan of yours. They like being around you when you also take care of your business. You become a nuisance, a problem, and an issue when you don't take care of your business. And, someone shared with me that's kind of his personality. Jokester, prankster, troll. Thus, you can kind of see the response that he gave on Facebook. He thought it was funny. Have you ever been around people, Robert, who just can't get it? They don't see reality. They think everything is a game, everything is a joke, and until it's too late, and some don't even see it then. And this kid has probably done this his whole life, right? And probably never suffered consequences. When I was coaching Little League football, I remember there was a kid when Xavier was playing, and I won't call the young man's name because he has his life, headed in the right direction now. But he wouldn't come to practice. And he'd show up on game day. And he was one of the best players on the team. And the other coaches would play him. And I was like, you can't do that. I said, right. It's going to cost him at junior high, high school, or if he ends up good enough in college, it's going to cost him. And by the time he was in high school, he got kicked off a couple different teams.
He only played his freshman year.
Yeah, and ended up getting, finally a coach in high school got tired of him. Has Ajay Hall been doing whatever he's doing, the whole time, but he was so talented, no one made him pay the consequences. And I think that's where we're at with him. And unfortunate. That's unfortunate. So, all right, man. Appreciate you, Robert. Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Bama can never be rewarded. It's just a disaster. It never happens. All right, thanks. Catch you later, guys.
All right, thank you, sir. All right. But what's his name? Also, we had Curtis Moore said, "Don't get me wrong, Hall is a great talent. However, everyone is hyped over the A-Day game performance. No disrespect to the JUCO transfer, but Hall did all that on Ronald Williams, who just isn't a shutdown corner. Just saying." Speaking of that, Saban was asked about the growth and development of Kool-Aid McKinstry and Kyrie. No, he asked about Kyrie, not Ronald Williams. Ronald Williams is the one that transferred, right? Yeah. So Kyrie is the one that got tossed into the national championship game. So, those guys that he did that on, and it's an 8-day game. You can't put too much in an 8-day game. If you go back and do that, then Mac Jones would have started the year before he did because, he had the best 8-day game a couple years back. But anyway, hey, a couple questions before we get the break here. X, when we look at this Bama defense, this will be Bama's best defense under Nick Saban if what?
Oh, man, I don't know if that's possible.
Yeah. I mean, you have to start thinking back.
The 2011 team is hard to beat.
Yeah. Well, I guess the first thing is, what's the criteria? If they hold teams under 17, is that the equivalent of the teams that were holding people down to 10 and 11 points?
This will be Alabama's best defense up under Nick Saban if Dallas Turner takes the next step to match the double teams that Will Anderson will be receiving. And if these young, inexperienced corners can play quality football.
Okay. Hey, Joe. You available there?
Oh, this defense is going to be better if I think this defense is going to be awesome anyway. But
yeah.
I think it's going to be Dallas Turner and Will Anderson just going. We always hear about Martin's team, the bookends. I think that we're going to see something very, very, very scary this year coming off the edge.
Yeah, and I would. It's going to be interesting. I think all of us are thinking the same thing. I think this becomes Alabama's best defense because of those two guys. But what's going to make those two guys so dangerous, in my opinion, is the interior defensive lineman, as Nick Saban said, getting pushed in the pocket and being able to keep from being this escape lane. I call it the escape lane between the guard and tackle positions when your outside rushers get up the field so fast and the young defensive lineman can't get a push. I mean, the defensive line can't get a push. It actually creates an escape lane as well as a clearer passing lane for the quarterbacks between the guards and the tackles if those guys get upfield. So that and those young corners or the corners as a whole. And I think Eli Ricks, Kool-Aid McKinstry, and that secondary is going to make it hard for quarterbacks to be able to throw quick passes. So when I look at this defense, I think that's why statistically sack numbers, I think we're looking at a chance of guys for this team. I don't even know. I think it's somewhere around in the 50-ish mark. I look for this team to
50
break.
sacks? 50 plus sacks?
Yes. So I look for this team to get up in that record, get close to that record because of that and because of those DBs. May even set the record. May set the record for. I'm making a bold prediction, Joe. Write it down so we can talk about it. this team will break the sack record and the interception record. And they go hand in hand. Quarterback's going to be trying to get rid of it because they know the pressure's coming. We're going to get some picks, and then they're not going to be able to get rid of it because of the coverage, right?
How many sacks between Will and Dallas are you going? Because that's where the majority of it is going to come from.
I would say that you're probably looking at Will match. I told someone the other day Will might get to 20 this year. And Dallas will have somewhere in that 12 to 15 range. So.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, and then you're just looking at a few defensive linemen and other guys. So we'll talk more about that, but we got to get to recruiting with Hank South. That coming up next. Hank South, 247 Sports, Bama Online Recruiting, joining the Martin Houston Show and X's and O's Sports, Xavier Houston, right here on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, we got a wreck reported at the intersection of Watermelon at New Watermelon out by Sokol Park at the new Shell. You can expect some delays there. Everything else moving well. If you see conditions, just give me a call. Right now is the time to head to Townsend Nissan. They're your hometown dealer with an amazing selection, low finance rates, and they need your trade. Go see them. I'm Captain Ray.
Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about one of our great sponsors, Overflow Express Wash. Their mission is to provide great customer service with a showroom clean car and an exceptional customer service experience. They have the basic car wash that starts at $7, but you need to check out the premium wash packages, which start as low as $12 and go up to $20. They also have a membership wash club that you can get for starting at $23.99, going up to $39.99. In other words, just double the regular premium package, drop a penny, and you can be one of the great members of Overflow Express Wash. My family and I keep our cars looking good inside and out by using Overflow Express Wash. They're located on Skyland Boulevard right next door to Alabama 1, or you can find them online at Overflow Express Wash.
You know what happens Diamonds. I'm Tom Osmond. Fincher and Osmond Jewelers carries artisan-created diamonds.
Earth and human safe.
And bigger. Lots bigger.
Fincher and Osmond diamonds from the mines or artisan-created diamonds.
They're all diamonds.
If you want to give her the big stuff, you've got to see these diamonds.
FincherandOsmond.com. A little tricky to find on McFarland Boulevard between Edgar's and Local Roots.
My caretaker was very rough with me. I thought they did it because I wasn't moving fast enough.
Elder abuse is a crime, and together we can stop it. If you or someone you know has been abused, neglected, or exploited, call the Adult Abuse Hotline at 1-800-458-7214. That's 1-800-458-7214. Sponsored by the Alabama Department of Human Resources, the Department of Justice, ADECA grant number 18VA-VS050, the ABA, and this station.
Nick Saban calls it the process. John Maxwell said that everything rises and falls on it. And Coach Wooden said it's what you learn after you think you know it all that makes the difference. What am I talking about? Leadership and personal development. Is your organization, your school, your church, your family, are they receiving the proper level of leadership development and personal development? If not, the Empowerment Center for Leadership and Mentoring can help you with that. We have our pep talks, which is a 1 to 1.5 hour lunch and learn, which we can customize to meet your needs, or we have some topics that we present that we know can help your organization. And if you're looking for one-on-one mentoring and coaching, we can also assist you with that. Visit peptalks35.com. That's peptalks35.com, or send an email to martin@martinhouston.org. That's the Empowerment Center for Leadership and Mentoring.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show, the sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
You're on 3.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9. Want to remind you to go check out Penny Profit Dry Cleaning. Welcoming them to the Martin Houston lineup. The best value in town, $389 dry cleaning. All dry cleaning, $389 per garment, and standard laundry rate shirts start at $225. If you mention you heard them about them right here on the Martin Houston Show, then you'll get those shirts laundered for $199. As Penny Profit Dry Cleaning, located at 2730 Stillman Boulevard in Tuscaloosa, starting at 8 o'clock. They'll be glad to offer you same-day service. Go check them out. That's Penny Profit Dry Cleaning. And tell them you heard about them right here on the Martin Houston Show and get that $199 on dry cleaning on those standard shirts. So, all right. Excuse me. Sorry. Let's welcome in Hank South, 247 Sports, Bama Online Recruiting. Good morning, Hank. How you doing, sir?
Hey, good morning, Martin. I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. You really can't get away from it. So I have to ask you about the young man, Nicholas Harbor, running a 10.3 to 100-meter dash athlete. What exactly does this young man play in high school, and kind of where is he on everybody's radar?
Yeah, I mean, he's been all over the radar. I mean, he's done at least 2 or 3 insane just track performances. He had that, I think it was earlier this year, he had the 200-meter, I think, and then this past weekend, obviously, the 10.3, I think it was 10.3 400-meter dash at 6'5", 226 or 227, which is just like unreal. But yeah, I mean, he's considered a 5-star athlete. He does a little bit of everything. Obviously, moving around at 6'5", 225. So, he can play tight end. He can be an edge rusher. Can play all over for you. So, I think, coaching staffs are still trying to decide kind of where he fits. Does he eventually project to a tight end, linebacker, edge rusher? He's a really twitchy jumbo athlete, which is, we've seen jumbo athletes be really highly sought after in recent recruiting cycles. They can just kind of do a lot. So, he's a guy that really likes. They wanted to get him on campus. He was supposed to visit, I think it was March 5th, but obviously, his track season has kept him busy. And so, he's trying to fit visits around that schedule. So, we'll see when he gets to Tuscaloosa, but he definitely does want to get down and visit. He got that offer, I think, in January from Alabama, and they're definitely on his radar. So, we'll see when that happens. But, yeah, I mean, just a freaky athlete.
Yeah. All right. Hey, we got Pat waiting. Pat, you're on with the Martin Houston Show with X's and O's, Xavier Houston, and 247 Sports, Bama Online Recruiting. Hank South, what's your question?
Hey, good morning, fellas. Y'all stole my thunder this morning. Mention the fact that the young man has a 4.5 GPA. Wow. I mean, hey, can that term freak that, they use it so lightly, that it doesn't mean a whole lot anymore. But this guy appears to be the real deal. My question is for you, Hank, could this guy be, Chicago Bears used to use really fast wide receivers, and they have a guy by the name of Willie Gaunt. I might not be saying his name correctly. Is that correct?
Yeah, Willie Galt played it. Willie Galt played at Tennessee and then played for the Bears. He was a track guy.
And he was amazingly fast. I mean, hey, this sounds like this guy. You can stretch him out there at wide receiver. Well, and it doesn't matter who you had at quarterback if he can throw the ball a long ways. But what's the latest on entertaining. That I'm hearing Texas more and more, but I just can't see how you, being that Coach Saban is a great closer, how can we rule out Alabama? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I don't think you can rule out Alabama. It kind of just seems, wherever his last visit was, that's the school that's trending for Arch Manning. He obviously was at Alabama last week, and a little bit shorter of a visit than his previous two trips. But told the visit went really well. Obviously, Arch Manning, we're not going to see him talk about it. He doesn't talk about his recruitment much. He just kind of does these visits and goes from there. But yeah, it's really those four schools, and really more so, it seems like, Bama versus Texas. There's been a lot of Georgia buzz as well, but I do think, right now it's Bama versus Texas for him, and we'll see when he makes a decision. I don't think he's really pressuring himself to any sort of timeline. He's not a kid that has to commit now or lose a spot. He has a spot in all these places. So I think Bama's right there. It's hard to make a pick. I've kind of leaned towards Texas. I think Bama's been trending a little bit more for Eli Holstein, but it's hard to rule it out when you don't hear from Arch Manning. He's the only guy that we don't really hear from. With what's going on inside his head. So we'll see. I think it's going to end up Bama or Texas. It'll be interesting to track down the stretch.
Gotcha. Hey, but with this Harbor guy, if we can get him, it won't matter who's playing quarterback against Alabama. They better have a quick release.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right. Thank you, fellas. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Pat.
You do, Hank.
And that's Hank South 247 Sports, Bama Online Recruiting. She had a question regarding Tyler Sheen.
Yeah, Hank, what's the news on the left tackle from Vanderbilt, Tyler Steen? Yeah, he's been on campus now. He's seen things, and Nick Saban has dropped some hints of things. But what's it look like with Alabama landing him?
Yeah, we've been on Tyler Steen watch all week. He took his official visit to Alabama, his last one that he had at the end of March, and then his dad spoke about the trip and said, that they're going to make a decision in about a week. It's been a little bit over a week now. I think they were saying Tuesday or Wednesday was kind of their target date, but they weren't setting any sort of commitment time or exact time when he was going to make his announcement. So Tuesday or Wednesday was when we were watching, and obviously that's now turned into Thursday. So it could happen really any minute. I think Bama's in good shape for him. I think they kind of set the bar in his recruitment. And the big thing with Tyler Steen was, what was he going to, what he was considering, Alabama, Virginia, LSU, NC State, coming from Vanderbilt. So, high academic institution. A lot of people were saying, he was going to go from there to, another high academic institution like Virginia. I think that was a big selling point. But then, you look at the fact that he's a graduate transfer. He already has his degree from Vanderbilt. So, is he going to look more toward the football side, not knocking Alabama on the academic side? I'm just talking about, higher rated academic institutions like Virginia. But, I think when it comes down to it this time around, I think he was impressed by Alabama's graduate program. Obviously, he has an opportunity to come in and play right away, and make his case for the NFL. He has 2 years of eligibility left too, so he could really, boost his stock kind of in a Landon Dickerson type trajectory where he came from Florida State. It ended up, really helping his personal stock in the 2 years he played at Alabama. So I think Bama has a good chance for him. It's just a matter of when he's going to announce. It could be today. I'd be surprised if it went out this week if we didn't hear anything. So keep an eye out for that.
All right, and
hold that question, Xavier, because I need to ask a football question before you go to the basketball.
Okay.
You tweeted out Hank at Hank South 247 Sports, Austin Searville, making his final three. Tell us a bit about this big offensive lineman.
Yeah, I think he's a guy we've had on our radar. Just been in his top three with Alabama, Notre Dame, and Ohio State. He's from Ohio. I think Ohio State probably has the edge there. He's visited a couple of times, I want to say, down in Tuscaloosa, and certainly has expressed a lot of interest, and vice versa. Bama showed a lot of interest in him too. But I think when it comes down to him making a decision, I think the home state Buckeyes are probably the team to beat for him.
All right, X, go ahead.
Yeah, Hank. So moving to basketball, you look again. Juwan Gary has now entered the transfer portal. That gives Alabama 4 guys in the portal. You've had Shackelford declare for the draft, and now you have, and still unsure about Quinterly coming back, unsure about if J.D. Davis is coming back or if he's leaving. Who are some of these guys that we can look to fulfill what now is currently 3 open spots on the roster for next year?
Yeah, it's kind of wild. It went from, are they going to take anyone else to, almost room for an entire signing class to bring in via the transfer portal or, late high school. But a few names have emerged. Obviously, I think last week we talked about him, Jalen Llewellyn, the Princeton guard transfer. He took an official visit to Tuscaloosa weekend before last. So, he's certainly a guy we've been tracking. One of our basketball analyst, Deshaun London, wrote yesterday about Mark Sears, who is a transfer from Ohio University. He is planning to visit Alabama for A-Day that weekend, so not this week, but next, for an official visit, has Alabama in the mix. So he's another one. Another A-Day visitor, Jalen Bridges, the West Virginia transfer. The Bama actually recruited at a high school pretty heavily in Nate Oates' first recruiting cycle. He obviously would end up going to West Virginia, but he's supposed to visit next weekend as well. So those are 3 transfers we've kind of had our eye on there. At the high school level, there's that Leonard Miller, who some consider a 5-star prospect that's still uncommitted from Canada. If you look at that Canadian connection, with Nate Oates and Brian Hodgson and what they've been able to do recruiting guys from that area. I think he was at TCU this week, and his brother plays at TCU, but he's looking at Alabama too. So that's kind of a handful of names they're looking at. But it's every day there's a new name that pops up in the portal. Is Bama going to go after him? Another guy we've been told Bama was interested in, Brandon Murray, the LSU transfer. So pretty much you could probably list about 20 guys. I think there's probably interest in. It's just a matter of are they going to come visit? Those 3 we mentioned have either visited or set up visits in the near future. So those are the ones you kind of keep the closest eye on because it looks like interest is a little bit more tangible at that point.
It is Mark Sears, Hank, with the fact that Alabama is expected to lose all 4 ball handlers. Of course, we know Burnett coming back will be one of those guys that's expected to do that. But Mark Sears, being a native Alabama guy from multiple shows, is he the most likely guy if we only land one of those guys?
Yeah, I think, I'd probably lean that way. I've heard good things about Jalen Llewellyn as well, but like you said, native Alabama guy, guards, especially Bama recruits guards really well because it's a very guard-oriented system. He's seen what Bama's done in the last couple of years with Kyler Lewis and Josh Primo, and obviously landing these elite talent guards. You got Jaden Bradley coming in as well. So I think that's really appealing to him. Average night, almost 20 points a game, 6 rebounds, 4.1 assists. So, a lot to like there in Mark Sears, and I think in vice versa, he really likes Alabama. So we'll see how that visit goes. He's also considering Mississippi State, Texas. So I think Texas, when it comes down to them, they're kind of more of a defensive oriented team. So that's something Bama could use. And it's a pitch, and kid. That's what they've been saying about Nate Oates the whole time he's been at Alabama. Is they just love his system. It kind of lets the players play. So. That's probably going to help here in the portal. I think it's going to be really appealing to a lot of guys.
Yeah, I'm going to let you go, Hank, but I don't know where all of these guys is going into the portal plan on going. We've got about 4 or 5 in, LSU have their entire roster. Have you ever seen anything as crazy as what happened at LSU?
Yeah, no, I mean, the college football transfer portal this year felt crazy, and then now basketball is pretty much one up it with everything going on there. So it's pretty wild times.
Yeah, I mean the LSU thing. I think actually probably. I mean, now can he go out and sign like all the players to fill his roster at LSU, or is it a? I mean, like you can only sign so many in a class. You can transfer people in football, but I don't know how it's done in basketball.
Yeah, I don't think there's a strict cap as much in basketball. I think it's probably just more geared towards your 13 roster spots. So yeah, football, there's a cap of 25 or whatever, and you can have overages if you lose guys. But I think they'll probably give LSU a break in terms of trying to fill out a capable roster.
Yeah, well, it is pretty amazing, and being a brand new coach, tough sledding ahead for him. We'll watch that as well, since that's one of our competitors. Let our listeners know where they can find you, Hank.
Yeah, BamaOnline.com. We got another big visitors weekend this weekend, and then obviously A-Day next weekend. So, ton of team coverage lately with spring practice, ton of recruiting coverage. So it's a good time to join. My Twitter handle is @HankSouth247.
All right, @HankSouth247, Bama Online Sports 247 recruiting, but @HankSouth247 best follow in recruiting. Thanks, Hank. We'll catch up with you next week.
Yes, sir. Thanks, guys.
All right. X, since you won't be on with me, and we're getting ready to get out of here on tomorrow, what do you want to see in the scrimmage Saturday? What would you be looking for?
More of the offensive line, the first team offensive line gelling, growing as a unit. See more from Milroe and Ty Simpson, and from the young wide receivers, and defensively, that middle linebacker spot that Christian Harris vacated, the younger corners, how they're working out opposite of Ricks and Malachi Moore in the slot, and the defensive line spot that Mathis is vacated. Who's replacing that?
Yeah, a lot of things to still look for and watch for on this Alabama Crimson Tide team. And we'll be breaking that down on tomorrow. So make sure you make plans to join the Martin Houston Show tomorrow at 6 a.m. X, tell them where they can find you when you're not on with me.
You can find me at X&O Sports on Twitter, Facebook, and across all social media platforms.
All right. Hey, thanks for being a part of the program. Thanks, X's and O's, Xavier Houston. Thanks, 247 Sports, Bama Online Recruiting, Hank South. Thanks to all the callers, listeners, chatters, and viewers. Thanks to all the producers behind the glass, pressing all the right buttons for the Martin Houston Show, the Sound of Alabama Sports, your show, your team. Have a great day, and remember this: trust in the Lord always, lean not on your own understanding, in all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your paths. Roll Tide out there, everybody.
Thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.